My mother, Claretha Dennis Thomas, was born on September the 10th, 1946, to her parents, Isaac and Elizabeth Dennis, in Monticello, Florida, which is right outside of Tallahassee. She was a loving and quiet child, but she was also feisty, and she wasn't somebody that you wanted to mess with. I want you to hear a snippet of this story of when she was sent to live with her grandmother up in Tallahassee for about a year, a half a year or a year. And she was ready to turn over this new leaf because she was known for fighting. She would fight her siblings, she would fight members of the family and friends, whoever, whatever, she would fight.
These three little boys came up behind me and they started picking at me, calling me names and, picking at my name and just my clothes and everything. And there was nothing wrong with my clothes. My clothes was fine. My hair was nice. Everything was good. But they found something to pick at me. And I always remember what my mom said. No matter what a person call you, say about you, don't fight. That's what she had to tell me. So she had to set the guidelines for me. let me know when you can hit somebody. You better not hit anybody if they don't hit you. And so I said, okay, they didn't hit me. I don't care what they say. So one of them got enough nerve, the smallest one got enough nerves to hit me. And, it was on then. So I would start fighting. And he started to cry. And I was thinking, what? I was thinking, what's wrong with him? You're a boy. What is, because I'm used to fighting with my brothers all the time. They never cry, you know. They would be playing, but, you know, not me. So anyway, he started to cry, and his little friend said, "You made my friend cry," and so he hit me, and so I started fighting him, and he started to cry. So I said, "Oh goodness." He was a little bit bigger. He said, "You pick on somebody your size." He was a little bit big, but the other friend was bigger than both those two little boys. And he said, "You made my friends cry." He said, "I bet you won't make me cry." And he hit me hard. And oh boy, it was on. So I started fighting. I started really fighting. And he started to cry. So I said, okay, all right. So he started, all three of them crying. So I left the playground, went to the bathroom. My cousin came over and she said, "I came over here to see about you, but you don't need anybody to see about you. You take care of yourself." And I said, okay. We went back in the classroom. I sat down. Nobody said anything. It was really quiet. And the teacher, she started to talk. And she said, "They told me there was a fight out there on the playground." And she started to lecture the boys and tell the boys that you don't hit girls and all this about the boys. And I kind of relaxed because I thought about, oh, Lord, I'm going to get killed the first day. And so when she got through with the boys, she said to me, she said, "And young lady," she said, "I understood that they hit you first." And she said, "But here at our school, if someone hit you, you tell the teacher." She said, "Don't do it anymore." She said, "Ordinarily, I would spank these boys." She said, "But you did a good job already. So, and because you didn't know," she said, "because you didn't know, I'm going to let you by too."
My mom and my dad, they started dating in high school. They knew each other all their life, but they started dating in high school. And naturally, both of their stories of how they got together vary. My dad says that my mom chased him. My mom says my dad wore her down, and I think that's probably what actually happened. I love you, Daddy. They got married in 1966, right next door to my grandma Tithy's house, by Mrs. Rose Heron, who was a minister, and her husband Abe Heron. They were married for 55 incredible years because April 22nd made 55 years. And within those 55 years, they had 4 kids: Andrea, Robert Jr., aka Bobby, Rhonda, and me, their favorite child, Arlisa. And that's undisputed. And if somebody says anything different, they're crazy. My mother spent her entire professional career in the education field, 38 years to be exact. Early in her career, upon graduating high school, she worked at Immokalee High School as a secretary and then as a teacher's aide. Once she obtained her bachelor's degree, she began teaching at the Bethune Education Center, which later turned into the Learning Center. Fun fact, on the day of my mother's college graduation, she went into labor with me, so she was unable to attend her special day. And although she didn't get to walk across the stage, she did get the greatest graduation gift ever. I have many fond memories going to work with my mother at the Learning Center. I attended graduation ceremonies with my mom and Aunt Rosa. I helped her set up her classroom and break it down at the end of the year. I read to her students and other teachers' students too, and I played in her classroom. My mother loved to teach. She loved her students, and I remember being just a little jealous that she would spend her personal money on things for her students, especially after I had been told that I could not get something. My mother started off in ministry at Wings of Deliverance Faith Temple when she was ordained as a missionary. From there, she moved to New Hope Faith Temple in Jesus Christ and was eventually appointed as an assistant pastor. And by that time I was around, I remember bopping around the pews at New Hope, attending the street services and sometimes playing the drums outside and in various places, but the revivals, the conventions, the Christmas programs, and I have video of my dad's 50th celebration that my mom threw for him as a surprise. So that's how I remember that. Around 1998 or so, I believe my mom became the pastor of my grandmother's church, which is Victory in Jesus Christ Tabernacle, where she completed her pastoralship. During her time there, she joined the Immokalee Ministerial Alliance, and she continued to do what she always did, was fellowship with other churches, to pray for the sick and visit them, most definitely visit them. Give her money, time, and effort to the Lord, our family, and the community. And let's not forget, preach the unadulterated truth. My mother was the heart of our family. She was the person that you would come to for advice. She was the person that would correct you if you needed to be corrected. She was everything to us. She was just like a wealth of knowledge, and whatever she didn't know, she was going to pray about it and then get back to you with an answer from the Lord. Speaking of the Lord and being saved, my mother was saved. Like, she didn't curse, she didn't drink, she didn't smoke. She watched religious programming like nonstop. If she wasn't watching something religious like T.D. Jakes or Joyce Myers or whoever else, she was probably going to be watching the news. So my theory behind why she watched the news nonstop is because she wanted to know what was happening in the world so that she could pray about it. But that's just my theory. Now, occasionally, she'd watch a Lifetime movie or something like that. Or I remember one time I convinced her to watch a Korean drama with me, and she got addicted to it. She was like, I'm not going to watch any more of these. This is my first and last time. My mother was a very private woman who didn't want you to know when she wasn't feeling well or when she was suffering. She was a quiet person also until you got to know her. She loved to cook and she loved to bake. And in my opinion, she was like the best cook and the best baker, hands down. But I know I'm biased and I get to be that way. She was a jovial person who liked to joke, laugh, and have fun. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Y'all, my mama just called me dumb. She just called me dumb. Ma, really? Ma. What? And I swear her laugh was like infectious. And every time I hear it, it just fills my heart with joy. And I'm so glad I have that recorded over, the course of so many different things that, was captured.
Come on.
Oh, just missed it.
I told you not too far to curl a curveball.
Classic reaction.
She should have just put it.
I knew it was gonna happen.
I'm not getting it though.
Some of my fondest memories with her was spending time with her and the rest of my family, normally during Christmas time. We would all sit around and open our gifts and either pretend to be surprised or like genuinely be surprised about the gift that we were getting.
Put up you chewing that gum, husband.
To my dear wife.
I told my mother near the end of her life that if I measured up to be half of the woman she was, the mother she was, the wife, the friend, the sister, the professional and spiritual leader that she was, I would be okay. And I think we'll all be okay because a part of her lives on the inside of us. And I will leave you with a snippet of her last sermon.
Because I know that he's real.
Yes, he is.
Somebody says so many people doubt him. But I can't live without him. Hallelujah. I know that he's real. I know, praise God. Whatever I go through, hallelujah, I say I'll go through it. Because I know I'm coming out on the other side. I'm coming out with victory. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. And I know that.
Yes, Lord. Oh,
Thanks be to God.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Amen.
They give us the victory.
Yes.
Through our Lord Jesus Christ. Therefore, my beloved, be steadfast, unmovable. Amen. Praise God. Don't turn around. Lord, did you say, did you mean me? Yeah, you meant me too.
Always about.
Hallelujah.
Always.
Always about.
Always
In the
about.
work of the Lord. For as much as you know that your labor is not in vain. It's not in vain. Hallelujah. In the Lord.